Right. I usually hear the words. Anyway, that's all right. It is 7 o'clock, and so I will call to order this meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee for the Town of St. Andrews. It's April 15th, 2026. We're here in the W.C. O'Neill Arena Complex in the council chambers. So we are recording attendance today. Looks like we have a full house today. All of our members are present. We have Mr. Pardon me? Oh, see, that's already, I've done that. Pardon me, we are missing Ms. Mercereau. Sorry about that. We also have Mr. McKinnon, Mr. Spear from the town, Mr. Gopin, and Ms. Klein from the planning department. And so we will proceed. We have an agenda in front of us. I'll entertain a motion to approve that agenda. Thank you. Seconder, thank you, Mr. Tanner. Any comment, discussion on the agenda? If not, I'll call the question.
Oh, sorry,
Yes.
Madam Chair, there actually is something we'd meant to put in from last meeting, was the appointment of the chair and vice chair.
Oh, you want to do that tonight?
Well, you don't have to, but
Well, we should see if it doesn't take long. I'm happy to do it tonight. So where would you like me to put that on the agenda?
maybe under part B, new
Presentations?
business.
I'm sorry, under new business?
Yeah,
All right. All right, well, with that amendment, I guess that's a friendly amendment. We don't need another mover or seconder, I wouldn't suspect, but if all those in favor of approving this agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? There being none, that agenda is adopted. Thank you very much. And as we begin, we do recognize that we are on the unceded traditional territory of the Beskoto-Magadi people, and we welcome everyone to this meeting. Looking around the table for a conflict of interest on tonight's agenda, if there exists any. Seeing no hands, there are no conflicts of interest. Thank you. We all have the minutes in front of us from the last meeting. I want to extend my thanks to everyone who assisted in the completion and preparation of these minutes due to the technical difficulty that we had. And so I do appreciate everyone kind of weighing in on that. If anyone would like to move to accept those minutes, I would entertain that. Thank you, Mr. Kerr. Any seconder? Kevin? Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Appreciate that. All right, so if there are no adjustments or edits to the minutes, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All hands up. We will adopt those minutes. Appreciate that. Moving through the agenda, we have no presentations or delegations, no zoning applications. We do have a variance application tonight. And so we will move on to that file. It is PAC 260414. This is a variance application for 300 Montague Street, PID 013222759. And they are requesting a 1.5-foot setback variance within the flankage yard. So at this time, excuse me, I would turn it over to Ms. Klein to take us through her planning report.
Hello, everyone. See if I can share here. There we go. So you should be able to see that now. If you can't, let me know. So this is the variance application on
just a moment,
behalf of
Connie. We
Oh.
can't see it, so we're just double checking
You
on it.
can't.
I can't see it either.
There we go.
Yeah.
How's that?
That was
Yeah.
great.
Good. So this is the variance application on behalf of the owner of 300 Montague. The applicant's requesting a variance of 1.5 feet in the flankage yard to build an addition to a single-family dwelling. Currently, there is a single-family dwelling on the lot and a detached garage. The property is zoned service residential. And the flankage yard setback for this property is 6.5 feet. The proposed addition will be 5 feet from the line, and that's on the Sophia Street side. This is the zoning map and an aerial view of the property. I hope you can see my cursor. but it is going to be on this corner here where the addition is going to take place. So this is what the dwelling looks like currently. Right here is where the addition's gonna go. He is gonna utilize part of this porch for the addition, which is gonna be a bedroom. It is gonna come out 3 feet on this left side towards Sophia. This is what he submitted as what this addition will look like. And you can see the 3 feet bump out right there. So when I was on site, I wanted to see how much space there actually was between the dwelling and what was going on in this area. There is some ditching here to allow for some water runoff. But there's still quite a bit of space here. 3 feet is still going to leave quite a bit of space, and it's going to be 5 feet to the line. So there is still, you know, the 1.5 feet variance, which is why we're here tonight. Looking at the municipal plan, we can see that the zoning bylaw shall set conditions to maintain the character of the town and to meet the needs of all residents. This addition will provide adequate space to the ditch if there were any planned future municipal developments. This addition will embrace the existing character of the neighborhood. It's also worth noting that all other requirements of the bylaw will be met, including lot coverage and all of the additional setbacks. There was polling sent out to neighbors within 100 meters, I believe, of the property. There was to date 2 letters sent back, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there was 2 letters sent back and both were in favor.
That's correct.
So the general intent of the bylaw is to create setbacks that maintain uniform street appearances to accommodate any future infrastructure, maintain the town's character while also meeting the needs of all residents. Staff is of the opinion that the proposed variance is minimal. It will not hinder any future development and considers this addition to be reasonable and desirable for the lot and for the neighborhood. The legal authority for this request is being made under Section 55(1)(b) of the Community Planning Act. This committee may permit a reasonable variance if it's of the opinion that the variance is reasonable and desirable, and keeping within the general intent of the bylaw. After looking at this project and considering how the addition will impact the lot and how the design will fit into the neighborhood, staff's recommending that this committee, the PAC, grant this variance of 1.5 feet in setback within the flankage yard at 300 Montague Street with the following terms and conditions. A building permit must first be obtained prior to any construction. And that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ms. Klein. Does anyone on the committee have any questions for the planner?
I have.
No, there being none. Is the applicant present on this file? Did you have anything that you wanted to add? Okay. All right. And anyone online, anyone from outside the polling area or inside the polling area wanted to speak about this? We'll take that as a no.
No additional
right.
attendees online.
Okay, thank you. All right, so it's back to the committee for motion discussion.
I'll make a motion
Okay, Mr. Kerr.
unless anybody wants to add anything else.
We'll
I'll make a
find
motion.
out. We'll find out.
I'll make a motion that the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC of the Town of St. Andrews grant the variance application of 1.5 feet setback within the flankage yard at 300 Montague Street, PID 1322759 for the following terms and conditions. A building permit is obtained prior to construction.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Tanner, thanks. Any further discussion? Yes.
I don't have a question. I do just want to say to the applicant, um, thank you very much for your very detailed plans and drawings. We don't often get this level of detail, and I really appreciated that. And I also really appreciated the choices you're making in terms of the aesthetics of the outside of the house and how you're planning to do the addition. I think it will be a lovely addition to the neighborhood. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, and St. Andrews is very fortunate to have John Haddon in the neighborhood. So
Yes.
he deserves a lot of discredit.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else from anyone? If not, I'm ready to call the question. All those in favor of the motion to approve the variance at PID 01322759 with the following condition that a building permit be issued prior to construction, please signify by saying aye. None opposed, so that is, motion is carried. Thank you very much. Moving along. All right, so after all our variance applications, we have one terms and condition application here. This is file number PAC 260415. This is a temporary use application at PID 01325836 along Bayview Drive. The applicant is looking to, I'm just sorry, for a temporary use to be used for parking and other construction materials. Sorry, that was not very elegant, but Alex, did you want, or sorry, Xander, did you want to take us through your planning report?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Share my screen. Everybody can see that? Okay. I'm assuming yes.
We can see it, yes.
Great. Okay, so this is a temporary use application for the numbered company at that PID, which is on Bayview Drive. So it's a fairly large lot, fairly close to the boundary, the former boundary of the town with I guess it would be Shamcook. Um, it's cleared most of it, but it's vacant. Not entirely sure what its history is, but um, I think it's been used for purposes kind of similar to this before. It's in the estate residential zone, and the application is for the temporary use of the lot to be used as a parking laydown area for building materials and vehicles, including equipment for a major wharf renovation at the biological station. Under zoning bylaws Z 2201, the closest use to this and would describe this as a contractor's yard. That's a premise in which the shop or assembly work of contractor or tradesperson is performed and includes the storage of any related equipment and or materials. This is not an allowed use in the estate residential zone, where the use will only be occurring while the work is happening at the biological station. It does make sense for a temporary use, and I do believe the applicant in the future is hoping to do some kind of residential subdivision on the site. But so he has other plans for it, but while it's waiting for that, I believe the biological station approached him to see if it was available for this use. So that is the property there. So yeah, the former town boundary is just to the north. To the south there, the kind of large cleared area, that's Marine Science Drive, heading down to the Huntsman and the biological station. And there's the zoning, so estate residential, pretty much surrounded by that. These are some photos from the site. Looks pretty similar to the satellite imagery. Not a lot has changed. Mostly a big cleared scrubby field. A relevant municipal plan policy is refers to the biological station and how council should work with those institutions to support their strategic plans and ensure their continued operation so long as their activities align with the town's vision and mission statements. And upgrading the wharf, redoing the wharf is an important part of the biological station's strategic plans and continued operations. And I'll speak to why this is a reasonable location for that in a minute, but it's something that they need a place to be able to stage equipment and do these kinds of things. There was a consultation mail out sent to properties within 100 meters. I have not heard anything. I don't know if anything came in to you folks, Mr. Spear or Mr. McKinnon.
Just hold a moment. Just Mr. McKinnon's having a double check.
Yep.
Actually, continue on, Xander. We'll
Okay, yeah, I can come
respond
back to
the
that.
report.
So the reason why this needs to happen off-site is there just isn't enough room at the biological station, especially cleared areas. This is a fairly massive project, and the amount of vehicles and equipment, materials, that kind of thing, just really isn't something they can handle on-site there. And given that, this is one of the closest lots available that could be used for such a purpose. It's quite a large lot. It is surrounded by trees. And so it should, as far as this use occurring and there being an visual impact to adjacent lots of the public, this lot really should minimize that, and conditions can further limit that. It is expected there would be some additional traffic associated with the use, but again, this location, very close to where the work would take place. It's only 200, well, it's not 260 meters away, but most of the traffic would be on Marine Science Drive, and then there's just a 260 meter portion of Bayview Drive that would be used. So there's just for reference. And you can also get a sense of the space, how much more space there is on that lot compared to what's available at the biological station. So given all that, staff recommends that the PAC approve the temporary use application for the use on the PID for up to 1 year, which is the maximum amount of time that a temporary use can be allowed for. Subject to the following conditions: that no trees are cleared within 5 meters of a lot line for the duration of the temporary use. No hazardous or explosive materials are to be placed on the lot, and materials and vehicles shall be stored as far from the road, Route 127, as possible without clearing trees. So put everything at the back of the lot so it has as little visual impact as possible. And that's it for me. I don't know if we found out if there were any comments that came in from the public.
No comments are received. No.
Okay. So happy to answer any questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Anyone on the committee have any questions? Councillor Highland.
Thanks, Xander. What happens if the project takes longer than 1 year to complete? If the wharf refurbishment takes longer than 1 year, do they apply for an extension? Is it automatically given? How does that work?
Council, so this has happened before with the recycling depot on Reed Avenue. So council
Right.
would first have to kind of say we're considering a rezoning for this. You don't have to necessarily start that process. And in this case, it might not be entirely appropriate to consider this a permanent use ever. But that's what would allow a temporary use to be extended for another year. I did ask the applicant if he thought a year would be enough time, and he said it should be. But you do never know with construction projects,
Yeah.
Really, you don't.
especially government construction projects.
Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Tanner, you had one?
Just, Xander, when I looked through your conditions about the, clearing trees and no hazard explosives, but how close are the nearest homes to that yard?
There's a couple of homes. See, shouldn't take me that long to do a measurement.
Yeah.
I'd say they're all at least 30 meters away,
Okay.
but I will
Words would be closer.
do a measurement.
Yeah, yeah.
No, the only reason I ask is I was just wondering about a noise consideration.
Yeah, the town does have a noise bylaw,
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, let me get a
If I
measurement.
could, Madam Chair.
You may, yeah.
I'd still recommend, so they're aware of it, that be added to the motion that operations can only take place between 7 and 1900 hours. They can come back for an exemption from the council.
Did you say 7 to 1800 hours or 7?
19, so 7 to 7.
7 to 7,
Yeah.
sorry.
Tupper Square is kind of adjacent to it. There's a lot of trees there, but it's become permanent residence for people, so just a
Oh.
consideration.
That's actually the other side, Mr. Spear.
Oh, that's right. So what is that?
Yeah,
Big
so there's
chunk.
there's a house it's about 30 meters away from the property line, but then if materials are stored as far away from the road as possible, they should be at probably 100 meters away from that house and any other house.
Will there be any assembly done on that site, or is it just strictly a lay down yard and storage?
I believe it's strictly a lay down yard. There wouldn't be any work happening there.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
One other
Scott.
comment, just to, Xander, do you think we should ask that they practice dust control strategy or propose a plan? I'd just be concerned, I don't know what they're doing there, but knowing the project, if they had fill there through July and August, the wind and it's dry, it could blow across. So sometimes tarp. the
Yeah, you could add a
traffic.
condition that there's a if soil is being stored, fill is being stored, that there's a dust control method to the satisfaction of the development officer. I mean, I'd assume it'd probably be tarps and things like that.
Excuse me, anybody else?
I guess,
Mr. Kerr?
I guess thinking about, I was thinking about just, wharf pilings and concrete slabs and all the, unsexy, building materials that go into making a wharf. And then when you started mentioning about, concrete or about loads of dirt and rock and everything else, so may go into it too. I guess for the property owner and for the neighbors, I would be a little concerned to make sure that the property is cleaned up after, and whatever happens on the property, it's reclaimed back to how it once was.
That's a really good condition, I think, that the property is returned to the pre-use state once the use has expired.
Yeah. That's it from me, really.
I have one too, sorry, pardon me. You had said that just that stretch of Bayview between this subject lot and Marine Science Drive would really be impacted by all this traffic, but where does everything come from? Before it goes to this laydown yard?
Well, there probably be materials could be coming from the port. I guess they would be coming down Bayview
True,
from the
yeah.
other side. Yeah.
The town's trying awful hard to tell people to take exit 25
Oh, yeah,
through Bayside, and just because it's a straighter run
yeah.
than coming up.
Yeah.
Crisscrossing to get
I've
over
just
to
seen a
the-
lot of equipment come in for this already, so I just wondered how much more that road can take for that, from that, but all right. That was just my question. Mr. Simmons?
Another thing I think we should consider is that when you're coming in, I know it's 70 kilometers. It's a blind knoll, signage to say that big trucks will be coming off. Like, has that ever even been considered? That are just gonna be permanently there, say trucks entering or slow the speed limit down for the duration.
DOT.
Right, but
I know.
it's a good, it is beyond the town's control.
'Cause
But I
that's-
think we should bring it to the attention of DTI that the truck, as a minimum, the truck's entering sign, we've pushed for lowering of speed limits several times, and you have to do speeds or traffic studies and stuff, and it's,
If that little blind knoll wasn't there, I wouldn't be as concerned, but when you come up that little drop and when you're coming out, and 70, everybody's going 80, into that corner, and a truck isn't gonna make the swing out
But
of
we
the
can't be
yard.
responsible for everybody else's driving
Yeah,
habits.
I
you
just
know.
said if we had signage there on both sides to say trucks
Al-
entering or
although-
something.
maybe the PAC, because they could use temporary signage, which I've seen like along the highways and stuff so if DOT won't agree to a temporary, for the length of the thing, the contractor could, we've all seen them put them out in front of the entryway on both directions.
And would that be the contractor in this case, or would it be DOT that puts that sign up? Like, who are we imposing this condition on?
Well, I'd
You
impose it
cannot
on-
impose a condition on DTI.
Exactly.
Right, but you can impose it on the contractor, so
Yeah, yeah.
it'd be similar to. Now, yeah, we'll put that on there. It'll also be conditional on DTI agreeing to that because
If it's in their right of way.
it's in their right of way, but
Yeah.
So is that a condition we can safely put on this?
I would say,
Is that within this
but
contractor's ability to control that either?
And there could also be a sign put on, not on the right of way.
or you
like
could
on the
say
property.
the signage conditional on DTI regulations will work. And the town
Subject to
could-
DTI regulations.
But I think maybe the clerk or I will get in touch with DTI ASAP and just ask, would you consider a temporary placement of signs? I mean, at the end of the day, they don't want to see anyone hurt or anything, so they may say, yeah, it's a good idea and put a permanent install there till the contract is completed.
Good talk. Anybody else? Mr. Solier, did you have something?
Yes, he said it's touched on my.
Oh, he did. Oh, he's good for that. All right. All right. So have I called for all the feedback? I really haven't. We've questioned the planner, the applicant not here, not online, correct? Nobody in the gallery, nobody online to comment on the file. All right. So here we are.
I'm prepared to entertain the motion.
I'm prepared to hear it.
So the motion is that the Planning Advisory Committee of the Town of St. Andrews approve the temporary use application for the use of a contractor's yard on PID 01325-836 for up to 1 year, subject to the following conditions. 1, no clearing of any trees within 5 meters of a lot line for the duration of the temporary use. 2, no hazardous or explosive materials are to be placed on the lot. 3, materials and vehicles shall be stored as far from the road, Route 127, as possible without clearing trees. 4, operations are to take place between 7 and 1900 hours. 5, dust control measures are to be put in place. 6, property is returned to pre-use state when, or property is to be, well, I'll just say property is to be returned to pre-use state. and I don't know, I think it's seven
Mhm.
signage will be posted to reduce speed. I'm a little lost on this one.
Subject to DTI regulation.
There we
with
go.
The recommendation. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Wonderful. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for that motion. Do we have a seconder? Mr. Simmons, thanks so much. Any further discussion, questions, comments? If not, I will call the question. All those in favor of approving this temporary use application for use of a contractor's yard on PID 01325836, please signify by saying aye. And none opposed. That motion is carried. Thanks so much. All right. So now we have no sign applications, but we do have some new business. And so we're going to deal with the election of chair and vice chair for the next year. This is something we typically do at the beginning of the year. Things just didn't come together. So here we are now, April 15th, getting that done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call for nominations 3 times for each of the 2 positions that we are electing. And once those nominations are closed after the 3rd call, I will call for a vote. And that is how this will carry forward. So here we go. Let's see, any nominations for chair? Are there any nominations for the position of chair?
I would like to nominate Jill Stewart.
Oh my, thank you so much. I do appreciate that confidence. Don't think I don't, I do. Are there any other nominations for the position of chair? And one more call, any other nominations for the position of chair? And there being none, I will just call the question. All those in favor of electing me chair, that's so awkward. Please signify by saying aye. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate that. Here we go for the vice chair. Are there any nominations for the position of vice chair? I would like to renominate Mr. Jeremiah Kerr. Are you willing to? Thank you. It was a tough year for you, wasn't it? I like to make it easy for you. Are there any other nominations for the position of vice chair? And one last call. Any other nominations for the position of vice chair? And there being none, all those in favor of Mr. Jeremiah Kerr being our vice chair, please signify by saying aye. Oh, we did not, we don't, for the nominations. We don't usually. Yeah, no, we haven't usually. So if we've broken with procedure in the past, we'll maybe correct next year, but that's not usually how we do it. If anyone wants to second those nominations. Anyway, all those in favor, did we do the vote? All those in favor of appointing Mr. Jeremiah as our vice chair, please signify by saying aye. And we did that. Yes, it's all coming back to me. All right, so one more year with me and Jeremiah. Here we go. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate that. Any, maybe I'll get a conflict going on some kind of file, or maybe I'll go on vacation. Who knows? Anyway, any PMC member comments as we go around the table? Anything to add? I guess I would maybe let everyone know that the appeal happens on the 24th of April. This is for the Donovan property from 2024. This goes way back. So this is an appeal of an appeal. No, I guess it's just a rehearing of the appeal that we did last April. So that's coming up. That's April 24th. I don't know the date or the time rather. It's usually 10, isn't it? I wonder if it's in here.
I think it is 10, just they usually start them in the morning in order to.
Yeah, yeah. So 10 o'clock likely. Yeah. Yep. Up in the dining room. Is that where he's having it? So come on over for the show. Yes. Yes. Agreed.
I have it as the 23rd.
We have a pre-meeting on
That's
the
our-
23rd.
right.
Yeah, that's just a prep meeting, the afternoon. Did he say 2 o'clock for that?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock? Okay. 1 o'clock for that, and then, the next day is the actual hearing, so. And as I recall, it's 10 o'clock, but I will certainly correct that if I need to. All right, well, that, I guess being all, no closed items. Here we are, 7:35. This meeting is adjourned, even with the, selection of chair and vice chair. That was pretty efficient. Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's our road.
Well, council, be on the other side of the road.
So we look after that road.
They've always plowed it.